to 5 of the most important steps that you personally take to look and feel your best, to avoid and possibly even overcome disease, and to live long doing it. What would your first step be?
Yeah, I love this topic. And I actually was just talking to a friend of mine named Bishop Lakiani. He was asking, he's like, Danette, I swear, he's like, every time I see you, you look younger. He's like, what is going on? You look sexier and younger. You guys, after all three of my children, I decided to enter into a bikini competition that was the world's bikini competition, not just any, the world's.
The world.
Yeah, using the nutrition that I was sharing out into the world, being like, "Hey, will this work without all this deprivating diets that these bikini models do? Like, could you just eat really healing foods and look amazing?" And I took 10th in the world,
Whoa.
and now I'm in my 40s. And he was like, "Why do you keep looking younger?" And I want to tell you the number one thing I really believe is this piece to it. Obviously, nutrition and fitness play into it, but I think this is even more important. And not a lot of people talk about it, but it's in every one of my programs, is I am constantly rewiring my subconscious mind that it's in a bio state of a 28-year-old, that I'm looking and feeling as a 28-year-old, that my organs are regenerating, my skin is getting younger, or that I'm looking better every single day. And I say this phrase every single day, and I close my eyes. Maybe it takes me 30 seconds, sometimes a minute if it feels really juicy. And I will visualize myself young. I will visualize my eyes bright. I will see my skin looking really well. I'll see myself with good posture and lifted glutes and flat abs and moving through the world really fluidly. And I really feel that this really working on my subconscious mind, and I believe for everyone, I think it's the ticket to your health. It's the ticket to the way you look, to the way you feel, is by visualizing what you actually want and seeing it and feeling it. And then your body will start taking you there.
Very powerful first place to start. So, as you know, Danette, the name of our organization here is the Art of Anti-Aging. And what that means is not being opposed to getting older. That would be ridiculous because we all get older every single moment of every day. However, what it means is that the anti is against this widespread message. And it really is a powerful, unfortunately, very negative message out there that getting older equals becoming undesirable, incapable, doomed to suffering and
Right.
disease, or as the joke goes in all these party stores, over the hill. And the problem is that I couldn't agree with you more. People adopt that mindset. It's very hard not to because it's such an oppressive message and widespread out there. So I love the fact that you're countering that very directly with what you do on a daily basis, visualizing yourself, in your case, as a 28-year-old. And I will say, everybody listening, by the way, she's not 28. She does indeed look 28 if you saw her. You'd be at liberty if you want to share your age with everyone right now.
Yeah, I'm 43.
Right. So, yes, significantly older than that. And that's one way of doing it. But however you do it, everyone listening, it is so important. And I couldn't agree with you more, Danette, to focus in your mind's eye, if you will, on what it is that you want, even on a physical, how you look level, certainly on a how you feel level. It does start there. So I couldn't agree with you more. Maybe share a little bit more because I do know you're big on visualization and you had a great little story in that wonderful book of yours, Embrace Abundance, about dropping an egg at the age of 5. I don't know, is there a brief way to share that story? Because this visualization aspect, you're right. Many folks in this event have not touched on it, but it's so powerful. I wouldn't mind if you shared a bit more about it.
Yeah, I'm going to use that story, but spin it in a way around health and wellness because every person listening, you have been shared in your subconscious mind, whatever your age is, whoever was it your parents or grandparents, usually when you were younger, so you're not even really aware of it, but they will share with you they think your health should be at this age, right? And a lot of times when you were younger, you might have been sitting around your aunts and uncles and they might be like, "Oh man, when I was 40, my metabolism went down and I just started gaining all this excess weight, or my joints got really stiff, and I started getting back problems when I was 50," or whatever health history was in your past. And you subconsciously picked this up as a kid. And so I really ask that everybody look at what were the stories that you were told about your age and how you should look and feel at this age? Was it that you just get tired, that your joints hurt, that your skin gets saggy, that you're not as athletic, that you have to stop running, that you can't go skiing anymore? Like really look at that. Or are there some generational diseases that they're like, yeah, you'll probably get diabetes or you're probably
Hmm.
going to get this. So I really ask, that's the first step, is getting really real with whatever the story might have been and how you may have subconsciously, meaning that you're not fully aware of it, but you can kind of remember stories or just look at what are my belief systems right now. And then the second step is to go, is there a time when my family told me, well, you are going to have this disease, or you're going to probably be obese or overweight because everybody else was, or you're going to lose your hair, or after these many babies, you're going to have a belly, whatever the story is. And if you can remember when it was shared, whether it was inadvertently shared with you or it was actually shared to you, go back to that moment. Now, this is where the mind, you can rewire the neural pathways and the programming that was. Here's the deal. We're all programmed. And a lot of us think that we're not, but we are. And so I want to program myself versus being programmable. And so that's how I look at this, is I'm going to program myself for what I want to desire versus just taking on everyone else's belief systems, right? Even if they think they have scientific backing to it, I don't care, because you can reverse things. So I would go back to that memory, right? So let's just use the example, and you can find your own example. Let's use the example that type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes was in your family, and they say that everybody gets it, and now you are a little overweight, so they're like, for sure you're predisposed for this, right? So you're thinking, I'm going to get it. And let's go back to that memory where they told you this, or you took it on, that this is your story. And you're going to go back to that scene and you're going to see yourself, whatever your age was, what you're wearing, what the people were wearing. And then you're going to see them saying something opposite. For example, what I would choose to see would, they'd be like, you know what? You know, your grandpa had this, you know, your uncle had this, but you're going to be different. Your body is so strong, and the knowledge you have and the food you're eating and exercising, you're not going to get this. You're going to actually bypass this through your system because your body's so intelligent. Imagine them saying this to you and you taking this on as a 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 13-year-old, right? Or even your 20 or 30-year-old self. And so you replay that over and over in your mind until you don't feel any charge. People that have cancer can do this. People that have other ailments, skin disorders, like people that have like eczema and things like that, they can do this too, because most likely you were told by a doctor or you were told by a parent that this is just your lot in life. And you can go back to that scene and have them say different things to you, and you taking on a different beautiful story over and over. So sometimes it takes 7 sessions, sometimes it takes 21 sessions, role playing this over and over and really feeling into that for that charge to be gone.
Hmm. That is so powerful. And I just want to repeat a phrase, probably paraphrase it a bit. You want to program yourself. You don't want to be programmed. And I do agree, Danette, even at this stage, I take steps like this all the time myself, and I still find places that I'm programmed. It's always a work in progress, everybody. And indeed, you're right again that it's perhaps most powerful when it comes from family, these messages. It's also out there in the media, and you can, everyone listening, do the same type of exercise. If you're hearing all the time or seeing, these movies where it's always glorifying someone in their 20s and anyone in their 50s and 60s is kind of a punchline, change that in your mind's eye too, and
Yes.
repeat, right? Exactly. I mean, this is such a powerful exercise. I'm so glad you pinpointed the specific steps that people could take on this one, because it does start here, everybody. You can eat all the healthiest foods in the world, but if you don't believe, and I mean believe with a capital B, that you can indeed feel 28, 38, whatever the target may be for you. If you don't believe that, well, let me rephrase this, believe it. And this is a beautiful route to doing so. So thanks for sharing this first most important step of yours, Danette.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me ask, what would another of the most important steps that you take be?
I find it sad when we have made movement seem like a punishment. Like, oh, I got to go work out or I got to go do this versus I get to, because movement is what I call clearing out the cobwebs of your soul. And movement is what's going to bring life to your cells and to your well being. It clears your mind, it gets you steady. It helps with obviously depression, anxiety. I'm a huge advocate of regular movement. So, in the fitness world, you might have heard, okay, exercise 3 times a week and then have your rest day. But I believe you should move every single day, move intentionally every single day. So for me, always non negotiable is to get out in nature and walk, run, whatever. Some people might bike, whatever is for you. If it's walking, running, biking, jogging, get out in nature and move your body every single day. And then find something that lights you up on top of that, whether it is a fitness class, maybe it's swimming, maybe it's dancing. There's so many forms of movement, and we've been led to think that it needs to be one form of movement to be effective, and it's completely not true. Like, it has to be Zumba, it has to be CrossFit, it has to be biking, it has to be whatever, and it doesn't. Just move. It could be a beautiful stretching session for yourself. So I really advocate every day being a non-negotiable to move with intention, because you honor yourself and you honor your body enough to clear out the cobwebs of your soul.
Hmm. Really well said. I have a grandmother. She's 102 now.
Wow.
And I interviewed her, grandma, basically, what's the secret? And she said 2 words: keep moving. That was the conclusion of the interview, basically. And it's true in her case. She grew up in a very different time where movement was far more necessary. Let's just say that. Our conveniences, right, Danette, that we've put in place today have really worked against us in a lot of ways. I know you are not a fan of the couch. I remember reading in your book, as a matter of fact, that you get fidgety. and from my perspective, I think the couch is one of our biggest enemies today, because it is.
Or the desk.
Yeah, desk
Yeah.
too. You're right, all of it. So in her case, she lived on a farm long after her husband, my grandfather, passed away. We're talking decades ago. And she stayed on that farm for more than 20, 30 years herself, and obviously moved around. So maybe a little almost advantage in that sense, but you are so correct. Movement does not equal, here we go again with mindset. And your very first answer we talked about, you're right. A lot of people have equated movement with this grueling, horrible exercises that some like to do. I enjoy high intensity exercises and things like that, but I enjoy it. But you, whoever you are listening right now, may not. And if you do have that barrier in the way in your brain that, that means it's going to hurt or it's going to be terrible, that's something to take that first most important step Danette mentioned and work on that with, and change the visualization of it, because you're right. There are so many different ways to move, and you can be passionate about any of these given ways. Like you said, dancing comes to mind. It's such a wonderful activity, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. So just find what you love and just make it a part of your everyday.
Absolutely. Something that lights you up, like you said. And if I may ask you before we move into the next one, and maybe I'm jumping ahead, let me know if I am here, but I love what you call in the book again, holy hell yes exercise. And you kind of can double duty on this, because I know you go out in nature, like you said, to get your movement. And it's also a great place to ask questions. I don't know if you'd like to share a bit about that.
Yeah, I come from this feeling and this knowing within myself that we're connected to every living thing, and that means every living thing. That means people, the greats of the greats that have passed on, the greats that are here now, and the ones to come, as well as all the plants, as well as all of the animals. And if that is true, then why would I not ask and get into that infinite intelligence and let it transfer into me, right? If we're all one. And so for me, when I'm out in nature, that's where I feel the most expansive. It's the constant reminder of growth, decay, rebirth. It's always moving, it's always growing, and it's always feeding and synergistically off each other, right? When you're out in nature, it's just divine. And so when I'm there, this is the perfect place where I will ask my intuition about specific things. If I'm kind of weighing certain thoughts in my head, like I'm not sure about one, like a decision I need to make, I'll just sit in that nature and I'll ask, what would you have me do, or what would you have me know? And then I might ask about a specific question pertaining to an answer about a decision, and always feeling into if it's a holy hell yes. that means it's a yes. If it's a no, then it's a hell no, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
being just really okay with no's, being okay with things that are not right now, even if you really think you want it, right? And just really being okay to honor that and then asking, because in nature, you're going to be a little bit more in tune to those feelings because you're out from the phone, you're out from all the noise of other people, media, TV, the walls of your home, get out into nature.
Hmm. So let me quickly reiterate for everybody. You can double duty here or stack. Stacking is a common expression for this. Get your movement, get outside, out in nature. It's a great place to walk or walk quickly, run if that's what you enjoy, whatever it may be. And this outstanding exercise of Danette's is called the Holy Hell Yes exercise. It's also such a powerful place to ask these questions that are weighing on you. And, you will get these powerful answers. It's almost a meditative aspect to it out there. And you'll get answers to those. And if it's a holy hell yes, like Danette just noted, there's your answer. And if it's what was the downside of that, Danette?
Hell no.
Hell no. Oh, okay. That's easy enough to remember. If it's a hell no, well, it's a hell no. So it's,
Or if it's just a simple no, it's a no, it's a hell no.
yeah, such a powerful thing. So, all right, from your experience, from your expertise, please share another of the most important steps you take to live long and well.
There's so many steps, but one thing that I feel called to say, I wouldn't know if this would be like my next best one, but I feel that someone needs to hear this, is to simplify. We're getting so caught up right now listening to all the different things about, oh, I should have that food or I shouldn't have that food. And oh, 5 years ago they said I should have that. And now they're saying it's bad. And should I have kale and should I not have kale? And like there's so much information out there. We're definitely in an age and an era where there's information overload. And I just want to encourage everyone to simplify, to really look and go, was this made by nature or was this made by man? And try to make your food in your house and the foods you consume at least 85%. I'm never going to ask anyone to be perfect, especially if you're new at this, but always looking and going, is 85% of what I put in my body actually naturally grown and grown in a loving way, not sprayed with a bunch of chemical to speed up the process,
Right.
right? But it's lovingly made, it's nature made it, and it wasn't made in some manufacturing plant. And if you can do that and really just simplify it like that, you are going to go strides because we get caught up in our minds of going, that's bad. That's a guilt day or a cheat day, which just drives me crazy because like, that's just like negative conditioning in the brain. So looking at going, well, I'm going to choose things that are living. I'm going to choose things that were made by nature. And as you do that and you make it 85% of your consumption, then you're not going to be weighing anything. You don't have to think about overeating. You don't have to, all of that drama gets to get erased. So that's what I would recommend for anyone who's overcomplicating this whole longevity and health movement that's going on.
A beautiful, beautiful response. Danette, the reason that I angled this particular event the way I did, asking 3 to 5 most important steps that each expert like yourself personally takes, is exactly what you're bringing up. There's this nonstop explosion, overflow of information out there, and it can be so overwhelming, so confusing to understand, hey, what should I actually do? What steps ought I to take? And so I'm like, you know what? Instead of asking people theoretical, what might be, what could be, I'm just asking experts like yourself what they do.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the keys that are close to their own heart based on their own experience. And I couldn't ask for a better one than simplify. Everybody, certainly with your food, certainly I get on this one a lot too with folks. Remember that your skin eats. Same thing with the foods that you're feeding your skin through cosmetics and personal care products. Keep them simple. 85% is a beautiful number at the least in that case as well. In anything that you allow inside your being, from my perspective, what a beautiful rule of thumb is: keep it simple. 85% pure, what you are allowing your being to take in terms of the media that you expose yourself to. I will stand up and applaud everybody right now, because instead of consuming something on TV right now, like, I don't know, what is even on daytime TV? I'm not even sure anymore, but but whatever that is, instead you're here absorbing this. So kudos to everyone for already taking that step, and simplifying is such a beautiful thing. All right. Well, I think we have time for just one more quick one here. What would a final most important step be to live long and well that you personally take?
I'm going to say this, and you guys, I'm only saying this because if you take on these things that I just shared with you today, like truly take them on, like give me 7, 10 days, take them on. I guarantee those aches that you've been feeling, that back pain, that hip pain, or skin, or just energy will be shifted. So that is my guarantee. And I know you're going to write into him and let him know, but I really know that if you just give this a go, it will. So the last one I want to say is, can you show up and love yourself more as you are right now? Meaning, you may want better health, meaning you may want to lose some excess weight. You may want these things, and that is great. And it's always good to improve. But today and the next 7 to 10 days, can you every day look yourself in the eye in a mirror and say, I love you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you, body. Thank you, body, for getting me around. Thank you for, even if you think, oh, I have certain ailments, or I have loss of functionality in certain things and I wish it was better, be grateful for that it's not worse, right? Like just focus on all the positive and give yourself some love today and every day. And I promise you what's going to happen is what you focus on, we know this on a scientific level as well, is expands. So focus on the good, focus on the health that you have today, focus on what your body is capable of doing today, focus on the way you show up in love and how you serve and who you are operating as. And as you do this and you give yourself some love, it does make a lot of this drama, the cravings, the aches in the body start to slowly dissipate. So these are really more mind things, but we're finding that the mind is one of the greatest or the worst allies to your overall health and longevity. So use it as your ally. So that's my final one.
Love yourself right now. It's beautiful. That one needs no further commentary, because each and every one of you really ought to love yourselves as you are right now. And I think that I'm going to say this too, Danette, in the biggest sense, well, I'm grateful and have love for you for being able to come here and share this today, for doing what you're doing in the world, for making a difference, honestly, in so many people's lives. Everyone listening, speaking from my own heart, here's a couple heartfelt recommendations. Number one, check out Earth Echo Foods. That's Earth Echo, ECHO Foods.com. That's Danette's excellent superfoods store. Great product there is called Cacao Bliss. Cacao is incredibly healthy for you. I love that product. So I just want to do a little plug myself for you, because it's
Thank
such an
you.
incredibly healthy food. Absolutely. Also head to DanetteMay.com, her website. Check out the blog there. Always full of helpful articles, really awesome recipes. Check out the offerings link there for coaching and other things. And again, definitely do read her latest book. You are going to love this book. It's called Embrace Abundance, A Proven Path to Better Health, More Wealth, and Deeply Fulfilling Relationships. Through the use of like these brief and engaging stories and specific steps you'll want to take. Well, as the subtitle implies, this remarkable book really does provide you a path to a better or an even better life, because you should love yourself right now already. And Danette, I could say so much more, but I just